Hello and welcome to the Trib Friday Night Multimedia Podcast, coming to you from the Super Centex Studios on Franklin Avenue in downtown Waco, hard by the Magnolia Silos.
Hard by. I had to call you about hard by the other day.
That just means we're right by it.
Okay.
I guess we're hard by Union Hall.
Yes.
Union Hall.
Yes.
You ever go over to Union Hall?
Yes, yeah. Quite frequently.
What's your favorite place over there?
Probably Way Cool. Way Cool Tacos is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I've also eaten at Whiz Bangs. I've eaten at the Po' Boy place. I've eaten at the new pizza place there.
Yeah. I pretty much it's been our Sunday lunch place for a little while, and it wouldn't be my favorite Sunday lunch place because you kind of have to stand there instead of visiting with people. You know, you have to stand there and wait for your thing. But I've gamed that situation. I call ahead to Blasian Asian so that I just walk in and pick it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, again, we are providing free advertising here, and so Union Hall, if you are listening, you know.
But Union Hall isn't like a business, so to speak. It's just a location.
Yeah, but they could each pitch in, $10, and we could go out to lunch at Union Hall.
Or maybe some of the places we didn't mention, like the ice cream place, could be like, hey, mention us next time. We'll give you a free sundae.
Absolutely.
Right? Gosh, we just started way off track. But that's okay. That's what podcasts are for, right? To get off track.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, so we're headed into week 9 of the high school football regular season. Usually at this time of year we marvel at how it feels like you turn around and the regular season is gone and you're talking about district playoff scenarios. Now that we're in the COVID-19 season, do you still kind of get that same feeling that it's flown by?
A little bit. And the reason I say it like that is because it's week 9 for some, but not for all.
Right.
You know, for Midway and Waco High, they're just starting district play. And University, they're playing Arlington Seguin this week. Are they in University's district? I don't think so.
Yes. Yeah,
okay,
that's
they
a
are.
district game. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a district game as well. So, they're just starting district play. Meanwhile, everyone else basically is, the non-6A and 5As are sitting here in week 9 and dealing with those district scenarios. And when you do think about, week 9, yeah, it kind of, you do kind of think, it has sort of flown by.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a weird season in terms of just we've got different people at different stages of the year. And that'll be strange, certainly having high school football in January, which is not something we're accustomed to. But there's been a lot in 2020 we haven't been accustomed to.
Yeah, and I was just working on Mart, and of course Mart plays 2 games next week. They play on, and get this, they play on Monday Night Football, and then they play on Halloween. Mm-hmm. So you gotta like that schedule.
Yeah, especially if you're a fan. Yeah.
Right. But then it's playoff time for them.
Right.
But one thing that might help us kind of focus on where we're at is in terms of where the season is we've got a record watch out there. If it was on TV, you'd have like some graphics and you'd be like, oh, look out, there's this record out there ready to be broken. So I texted you about this Monday night when I started thinking about it, and it's one of those things that I just got lucky that I did start thinking about it when I did. But currently, the career rushing yards leader in Central Texas record holder would be Traion Smith from Cameron Yoe, who rushed for 7,625 yards in his career. And
which is a heck of a lot.
And it was during that run of Cameron Yoe state championships. Well, the numbers are very similar, so I got to make sure I get this right. Troy running back Zach Hrbacek has 7,265 yards.
Yeah. 625 and 265.
Right. So he's, so far in his career, has rushed for 7,265 yards. He's got 3 regular season games left, and I would say more than likely at least one playoff game, maybe a couple of playoff games.
Yeah, I would say.
And as good as that district has been, you get in the playoffs and you might play for a little bit.
Right.
Looks like that record's going down, right?
Yeah, the way Hrbacek goes out and puts up, basically 200 yards a game.
285 is what he's averaging a game this year.
It's bananas. And another stat that you can look at that always sort of jumps out at you you and I work on the Stats Plus,
Mm-hmm.
leaders every week, and when you look at the rushing leaders in Central Texas, and you look at number of carries, I think Hrbacek has basically more than 100 carries, or right at 100 carries more than the next leading guy. So, I mean, there's no mystery to what Troy's going to do offensively.
Right,
it's
right.
Get the ball to Hrbacek, put a body on somebody, try to make a seam for him, and then watch him go. And one other thing that sort of jumps out to me about the fact that he is approaching this record is, and again, we've sort of shot down this illusion before, but one of the misconceptions of sort of the spread offense, the spread era of football, is that it's all about passing or whatever. And here we are in the 21st century, and I think this rushing record in Central Texas is about to fall for the fourth time since 2000.
Right.
And Travis Landrum of Chilton had it for a while. He broke it. And then Denarian Thomas of Mart passed Landrum, and he broke it. And then Traion Smith, of Cameron. And now here we are sitting again, and the rushing number just keeps going up.
Right.
And the other thing that's kind of, unique to me about this is it's one of those records, like, we don't really talk about the receiving record or even the passing record, but the rushing record is one that, it just seems like it's got a little cachet.
Well, I think what you're saying holds true, and I think that you can compare these rushing records generation into generation and feel like, even with the spread offense, or if they're running the single wing or the option, the wishbone or whatever, it's all going to come down to rushing yards, and as much as, the air raid and all the stuff that has gone on with the innovation of the passing game, and there's a great essay about football by one of my favorite writers, Chuck Klosterman, in a book called Eating the Dinosaur.
Okay.
And the essay is just called Football. And it's basically talking about how football is a game of innovators. We think of it as like this traditional conservative values type of game, but really it's a game of innovators. And so you got all these passing, you go back through the generations from Mike Leach to Hal Mummy, but even like to Bill Walsh, who was an innovator, and
even in its day, the wishbone was innovative.
Right, yeah, exactly. And the other thing that he points out in a really funny way is that passing was added to the game of football.
Right.
Like, it was not legal for a while, and then it was added to the game to make it safer.
The forward pass was not
right.
a legal thing.
But I won't go on and on about that essay, because I could probably pretty much quote the whole thing. But I say all that to say that all that innovation aside, what I think is what's the most demoralizing thing you can do to an opponent in a football game?
Run it right down their throat.
Yeah. Now, and I was going to say specifically, if you run for 8 yards on a first down, that pretty much puts the other, because they've given up another first down already.
Yeah. Right.
So to me, running for 8 yards on first down is the best thing you can do as a football team.
And Hrbacek probably done that more than a few times.
Although Hrbacek has a little Barry Sanders in him. He might lose a yard on one play and run for 58 on the next.
But man, if he gets a seam, watch out.
Yep.
He is gone.
Yep.
He is really, really fun to watch.
Yep. Okay, so we've talked food trucks and restaurants. We've talked some football.
Okay.
Now let's talk rankings.
Okay.
What's your pound for pound rankings this week?
Very little shakeup. There is some though. So I've still got Martin la-vega 1-2. That again, I think we've said it all year. I don't think that's probably going to change. Maybe let's say la-vega wins state, Martin doesn't, or maybe it changes then. But so I had China Spring number 3 before, and I don't want to necessarily overreact
Well, they didn't fall out of the state rankings.
Right. I don't want to overreact to a road loss at a state-ranked Salado team.
Right.
I mean, but clearly Salado's very good. And, I mean, we talked about that game last week being the de facto district championship game. I mean, it looks like the Eagles will probably be the district champions. So I'm not dropping China Spring out of my top 5, but I am dropping them out of the number 3 spot. And I'm moving the undefeated Crawford Pirates there. I had Crawford 4 before. Right. So basically I'm flip-flopping Crawford and China Spring. And then I've still got Abbott, who I feel like is kind of flying under the radar from a state perspective. I got the Abbott Panthers at number 5. Still undefeated on the year. And I think a team that's going to do some damage in the 1A Division I playoffs.
Well, if you're six-man guru Granger Huntress and you're ranking the Abbott Panthers, I mean, I guess you just have to go on this season because you could look at last year when they struggled and where they haven't been where they were, or you could look at the state championship caliber program they were before. So I'm sure it's hard to know what to do with them from a rankings perspective.
Yeah, and there's clearly some contenders in 1A Division I. I mean, there's contenders in every division, but we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But I feel like Abbott and Jonesboro still are going to have something to say. Right.
Speaking of the Crawford Pirates, they moved up to number 3. They've got a test on Friday against Bosqueville. It's the game I'll be covering. It's also the game that's going to be on the CW.
Okay.
So a lot
game
of
the
media
week on TV.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure the traditional Crawford coaching powers that be really love that to have a TV game. That doesn't seem like it's really right up their alley.
Yeah, Crawford likes kind of hovering in the darkness.
Yeah. So speaking of rankings again, and Crawford is another ranked team in the state rankings. I think they're number 7 in 2A D1. But there are several games in the area, and I think maybe most notably, number 2 Duncanville Panthers come into Waco ISD Stadium to face the Waco High Lions. Of course, Waco High had to pause all activities, practice and school. Well, I guess they did online school.
Yeah, virtual.
Yeah, for a couple of weeks due to COVID-19 cases. And so Waco High, here's the deal. You don't get to practice for 2 weeks. Then you get to come practice for a week and go play Duncanville.
Right.
It's not a real appealing set of circumstances.
Congratulations, kids.
Yeah, exactly. But what the heck? They're going to go play anyway. And Coach Ed Love, I talked to their athletic director, and he was positive about it. But let's hear your pep talk. What do you tell the Lions players about going in and facing this challenge?
I say, boys, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so as I was thinking about this, I tend to play a little pickup basketball every once in a while. Did manage to get some games in today. It's been less frequent in 2020, so I'm grateful for the chance to play. And we had some really good 3-on-3 games. I was opposite this guy, Nick is an exceptional point guard. I mean, he can really pass, he can shoot, he can do it all. But every freaking game, we were right in the game, my team, and then they would score like the last 3 or 4, maybe sometimes 5 points in a row and win the game. I mean, it was like 9-9, and then all of a sudden it's 12-9.
Was it make it take it?
Make it take it.
Okay. Yeah.
And what Nick would do was he's so crafty. He would just figure out, who's not playing just enough defense, and let's go expose that guy, and he would, find a mismatch or find who wasn't, who was dogging it, who was a little bit tired, and he would get the ball to that guy's man, and that guy would score, and they'd win the game. And I was saying in the locker room afterwards, I was like, with Nick, you can't let up for 1 second. And that would be, I'm trying to bring that all back around. That would be my message to Waco High. You cannot let up for a play, for a second. I mean, because it's Duncanville, and even if you play, balls to the wall 100% all the time, they're probably still going to be the favorite. So, I mean, that's just my message to them. And Kwame Cavill is a much better orator than I am. I've sat there and listened to him speak to his team and been ready to run through a wall myself. So I feel like he'll have a very resounding pregame pep talk. Will that mean much? You know, it still comes down to winning the line of scrimmage and turnovers and making plays. You know?
Right. Well, you mentioned one of the ideas I think you're getting at is one of the things Coach Love said to me was, upsets happen every Friday night, so, why not us type of deal.
Why not us? That's another, yeah.
Although I think a more applicable, bit of encouragement might come post-game. And in my family, we have a post-game, sort of encouragement, pep talk, if you will. It's like, well, we didn't lose. We just ran out of time. Go get a snow cone.
There you go. Yeah.
And that transitions into my last question. And basically, this isn't a question. I just wanted to brag that I got to go cover a game out of town for the first time in a while the other night in Salado. So I stop at that mecca of convenience stores on I-35. And where they have,
we all pay homage to the Beaver.
Right. And so they have all kinds of snacks available.
Right.
And I actually went there pregame and got a sausage sandwich. And then when we went to the ball game and came back, and I had a cinnamon roll with like icing and the pecans in the icing.
Oh man!
So anyway, what's your favorite post game snack or end of Friday night kind of finish things off?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'll couch the question a little bit by saying, look, you're not always going to be within a few miles of a Buc-ee's.
Right.
I mean, they're sort of, conveniently spread out across the state, and so let's just assume that, we're going to a convenience store that maybe doesn't have a brisket sandwich, or whatever, because
Right.
Buc-ee's has everything. But so if I've got like normal convenience store fare, I'm going probably white cheddar Cheez-Its. They get a lot of stuff on your hands, but they're really good.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Just something. It's something first of all that you can reach over in the car.
Okay, yeah, that makes
and
sense. That
finger
makes sense.
food.
Yeah.
Eat and drive. Another one that's like that is combos. You ever eat combos? Those little little spherical things.
Right.
They got peanut butter or cheese inside of them. Those are really good.
Or pretzel on the
outside. Yeah, those are really good. But also, if we're talking like a little bit more than a snack, something more like a meal. Whataburger's always open, and it's always good.
Well, this may have changed since they opened the bars back up, but Whataburger has been very crowded lately, for post game. But anyway,
I love a good strawberry shake from Whataburger, man. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
good pink strawberry shake.
Yeah. It sounds
I've
like
got to get my fruit in.
You're a little bit more inclined.
The health.
I'm surprised you wouldn't want a cherry shake.
I don't know they have cherry shakes, but I like it. Cherry shake's my dance.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
We're
we better
off the
cool
rails.
over ahead on this podcast.